NCDC slams Presidency for disregarding COVID-19 protocol in Abba Kyari's burial. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) have chided the federal government for going against its social distancing rules amid increasing coronavirus cases. The NCDC comment followed video showing the gathering at the burial of the Chief of Staff of the President, Abba Kyari, in Abuja, hence exposing lots of people who attended the funeral to the deadly virus. Kyari, a native of Borno State, died on Friday of the coronavirus disease COVID-19. His remains were buried today. Igbere TV reports that despite the presidency saying Kyari's burial would be a private occasion, several persons attended the interment on Saturday at Gudu Cemetery in Abuja and also disregarding the social distancing rules. NCDC, via its official Twitter handle, wrote, "Even at this time, as we mourn loved ones lost to COVID-19, including the recent deceased President's Chief of Staff, Malam Abba Kyari, we need to refrain from attending mass gatherings to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Igbere TV reports that this is the second rule to be broken as we recall the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, earlier declared that the federal government would not release the corpse of people who died after testing positive to coronavirus to relatives for burial. Coronavirus is very dangerous and contagious. There is no medicine for it yet, and it is not just capable of killing overwhelming healthcare system, it will destroy the economy. In some countries, they are putting dead bodies in a big refrigerator because the morgues are filled up. Nigerians should not forget that these are not the type of corpses that can be claimed for burial because the Ministry of Health must handle it," he said. Igbere TV further recalls that popular Nollywood star actress Funke Akindele and her husband JJC Skills were recently punished for going against social distancing rules. Funke and her husband JJC Skills were on April 7th found guilty of violating coronavirus-induced lockdown, other by hosting a birthday party at Lagos home. They were sentenced to 14 days of community service and ordered to pay a fine of 100,000 each. So my people, that's the news reaching us today. Just before we go to the news, I'd like to use this medium to let you guys know that if you're just meeting us for the first time, this is Speak Network. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do press the subscribe button below. And also the little bell that's just close to it. So whenever we upload the news, you can get them firsthand. Okay, let's go back to the news. Our people used to say that what is good for the goose is also good for the gangers. You see, we understand, we know that our Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, died on Friday night, and he was buried today, Saturday. But the thing is, firstly, we want to say, because the NCDC has slammed the government, the federal government, for disobeying or disregarding the social distancing rules. The video has been going around the internet, and we can see that there was no sort of social distancing. Everybody was just everywhere, and with a kind of disease like a pandemic like this, if you go to if you check the advanced countries, they make sure they have put social distancing as one of the measures to contain the virus. So what they do, they put that into practice, and everywhere it is enacted. But here in our country, You say a thing and it doesn't happen. Or if in fact, the federal government, the highest level of government, is the first to break the rules. That's why you see things don't actually work in Nigeria. That's why we go round and round and round and round in circles. Now, today was the burial of Abba Kyari, the chief of staff to the president. Now, the president never put in place measures to make sure, because since we're in a lockdown and we're observing social distancing, to make sure that this happens even in the burial of Abba Kyari. Nothing like that was done. We can see the video going around the internet. Everywhere was so crowded and so packed. And they have said it's a private burial. But this is not a private burial, because there are more than 20, 30, 40 people that attended the burial. And there was no sort of social distancing that was observed. That's the first thing. All right? Now, the second thing there is that the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, declared that the federal government would not release corpses of people who died after testing positive to coronavirus to relatives for burial. How is it that the corpse of Abba Kyari was released for burial? You see, this is why we don't understand what is going on in Nigeria. One rule, you put a rule and it doesn't apply to some people are above the law. Even at death, Abba Kyari is above the law. You see, you have said, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, came out to say the federal government will not release any corpse that anyone that died as a result of COVID-19 testing positive. But what do we see today? Abba Kyari died yesterday. The corpse was released today, and he was buried today. That is unfairness. That is nepotism in our country, unfortunately. Serious nepotism and tribalism. We can see what is happening with the government of Nigeria. Nigerians, open your eye to see what is going on. It's unbelievable that the corpse of Abba Kyari was released for burial, you see. But just a few weeks ago, they said none of the corpse could be released to the people, to the individuals for burial, to relatives for burial. You can see what is going on in the country. So we can see that some people are quite more important than other people in the country. So some citizens from certain location, from certain demographic, is more important than others from the other side. This is unbelievable in Nigeria. Nigerians, you can see what is happening. You can see how the government treats its citizens. If Abba Kyari was given out to his people, to his relatives for burial, then everyone that died as a result of COVID-19 or tested positive should be given to their relatives as well. Also, Funke Akindele, a Nigerian actress, and her husband JJC Skills were convicted of of violating the social distancing order, and they were given 14 days of community service and 100,000 to pay each. But what do we see today? What do we see today? Look at the whole chaos in the whole place. Look at the people not observing the social distancing. At the end of the day, what happens? Who takes them to court? Who takes the federal government to court and release the cops anyway? So Nigerians, you can see what is happening. You can see what our people are doing. You can see how the federal government is treating each citizens of the country. So, my people, we want to hear your comments. We want to hear your take on this. We want you to have your say. Just in case you haven't subscribed, please do press the subscribe button below, and also the little bell that's just there for so that you can get the news first time as we upload them. Thank you very much, my people, for coming by. Until we meet again, goodbye.